Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of the Pokopia season. My name is Kevin.
And my name is Jonnie.
I almost went for the here's Johnny thing, but here he is. Hello, hello. I remember you.
uh,
I think
I
listeners might
come here
remember you.
occasionally.
It's good to see you again, Johnny. Sorry, let's back up. And today we're here to talk about cottage core games, but mostly Pokopia. But yes, we're here. Um, but seriously, yes, good to see you again, Johnny. It has been a hot minute. Um, Pokopia, we're here to talk about that. I'm going to talk about lore and story stuff, but we'll get to that. We got news, we got other stuff. But the biggest question for me and listeners, how you been, Johnny? What's been going on? Tell me about your week, your month, life. It's been a minute. Tell us what's up.
Yeah, it's been a while. We got my partner and I got kittens recently, and they're super, super cute. I'll put some photos up of
Yeah.
them in Slack. So they're super crazy, and just like super cute. So if you hear purring in the
That's
background, it's because one of them has come in and decided to partake in the recording.
ooh, ooh, lucky you.
Um,
That's a good position to
Yeah,
be
and
in.
like probably the reason I haven't been on the show is I just haven't been playing much recently. But I do have a game that I want to talk about. It's a game I've been playing for a couple of years now, but it's still in closed beta, and it's a game called Walkscape. Kevin, do you know much about RuneScape?
I mean, yes, I'm familiar. I was there in when they say what was it when the ancient texts were written, whatever the Narnia quote. I was there in middle school in RuneScape. I was playing it on the computer lab, the good old
Yeah,
days.
so for
Yes.
those that don't know, like the game is built around like insane grinds, right? It's a clicker. The gameplay's not particularly deep or particularly complicated, but it takes a long time. And so someone has taken that concept and said, what if instead of clicking at the computer, you were walking, and your steps kind of contributed towards those grinds? And
Wait,
they've
physical walking, real
physical
life
walking.
steps.
Yeah, yeah. So like
What
Pokemon
is
Go,
this
but not terrible.
nonsense?
And so they just released sort of a decent update, and they're still in closed beta and probably will be for the next year or so. But you can sign up through Patreon if you want to get on it. And yeah, so they've just released two new skills into the game, hunting and tailoring. And like the concept of the game is like you want to walk to a new town, then that takes steps. You want to do an activity at that town, it takes steps. And the whole basis of the game is based on those ideas of RuneScape grinds. So there are some grinds in this game that are crazy. A common friend of ours, Kevin, Template, he's also been playing, and he spent over 1 million steps in one location to get a single item to drop, to give you a sort of idea of the sorts of things that this game can do to you. I've been playing for almost 2 years now, and I just checked my steps before, and I'm at like 6.5 million steps. One of the like top tier achievements in the game is to get 12 million, over 12 million steps. So I'm probably another 2 years away from that, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. And I've kind of avoided talking about it because it's in, this closed beta, but the game is getting to a state where it's like, no, I want to start recommending this to people. It's a great way to just encourage walking. I really, really like it.
That's insanity for Nico freaks, but for good. So
Yeah,
good for those devs.
exactly.
Um,
It's a great game. The one downside, and it's the biggest downside, because I know Al's tried this game, and this was the reason he bounced off, is the UI is pretty bad. It's a little bit hard to work out. It's one of those things like now it's fine. I know where everything is, so it's easy to use, but like when you're coming in fresh, it's a
yeah.
little bit incomprehensible. But that's look, small teams making small games, trying to do something good. Like you've got to lean into some things are not going to be ideal.
Game dev is hard. I quote
It is hard. It
every
is hard.
episode of the Harvest season.
Yeah, so I'll make sure there's a
Okay,
link in the show notes because it's a great game.
that's very cool. I have questions. Okay, so all right. Um, Pokemon Go being the standout, like you walk steps, or it's not even like walk steps to generate something. You just go to different areas for Pokemon to spawn or whatever, right? Like that's a
Yes.
thing. It's that's more of an area based game. But like that's that's there's the rest of the game. You catch Pokemon, there's gyms, whatever. How does like the game part work, right? Because I understand. Okay, you walk 1 million steps, you level up a skill, or you get unlock an item or something like that, right? But what are you doing with this
Yeah.
stuff that you're getting or unlocking?
So it's kind of like gear grind, right? So at the moment I'm doing hunting. I'm currently hunting deer. And hunting deer will give me two things. One, it will give me a bunch of resources that I can use for other skills. So I can like get their hides and turn them into leather and turn them into gear. Um, and then it will also level up my hunting skill because I want to get to higher level hunting activities that drop, there's achievements in the game, so you might want to go for achievements. There's collectibles in the game, so you might want like, which are, your kind of rarest drops that kind of don't do anything. They're more like trophies or whatever, so you might want to go and collect those. The game will eventually have trading and some of those sorts of things, so you might want to be someone that like
Hmm.
crafts high tier items for selling to other people. It's a little bit of like a
Mm.
like what do you want to do? And there's features in the game that aren't like the probably the three big features that still have to come before they go into open beta
Yeah.
are combat, so that doesn't exist in the game yet. Trading,
Mm.
um, and quests. So there will be a range of things that you can do. So when I first joined the game, I was like, I really want to focus on the agility skill because that's how you kind of get around the world. And I was like, if I focus on that for a bit, getting around will be easier while I worked out what I wanted to do. And I was like, actually, I want to
Sure.
get achievements and collectibles. Those are kind of my focus areas. So I'm more focused on those. So other people at sort of similar stage in the game, a lot of them have better gear than I do because they're focused on different things. And that's really, I guess,
Sure.
the heart of the game is you kind of just pick what you want to focus on. And there's some pretty crazy grinds almost, whichever way you want to go
Right.
down that pathway
Man,
and focus on those.
that's RuneScape sounding nonsense because I remember like after I learned RuneScape, eventually like, okay, you know what? I want to be a blacksmith king. I'm gonna focus on nothing
Hmm.
else but my blacksmithing. And so I had to level up some stuff because I had to beat the big scorpions in the caves where the good ore was, but there was so much else I was not doing.
And
That's wild. I'm
that's exactly it.
mm,
And
that's
one
a
of the things I really like about the
fascinating
game is
design.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like unlike Pokemon Go that you kind of have to be constantly checking in on. This game goes through waves. So you'll have a time where, you're like, oh, I'm, constantly doing things like I'm going to walk to this town, do this thing, then walk to another town to do something else. And you'll be checking the game, maybe every couple of thousand steps or something like that. But equally, you can have days where you're like, okay, I'm just sitting at this activity, I'm grinding it, I need a rare drop, I'm going to be here for a while. And you could go for a couple of days without needing to check the app and just when you connect all of those steps will log in and you'll see your progress. So it's not something that's kind of feels like it's a demand on your time. If you're having a time you're like, wow, I'm not going to be able to check my phone that much, then you can just park yourself somewhere where it's maybe a little bit of a crazier grind and just leave yourself there and see what happens when you come out the other side. I'm traveling to China in a couple months time for about 3 weeks. And I think I'm just going to work out like what's the super insane grind that I would probably never do otherwise. I'm just going to park myself at whatever that is for those 3 weeks, and I won't check it for those 3 weeks, and we'll come back and see what I open up to.
As you walk the length back and forth of the Great Wall.
Exactly right.
Oh, that's wild nonsense. What a like I said, what a cool design, what a cool idea. Good for these devs. Yeah, good stuff. I'm at least curious to see what this looks like. So I'll check out.
Absolutely.
I don't know, images or something interesting. Very cool.
And if anyone does join, like if you join the Slack, let me know because I'm keen to talk to more people about this game. And like, yeah, it's crazy. It's super fun. What have you been up to, Kev?
And then me on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, I continue to live in the give up machine that I call Pokopia, where I just turn off the world and just live in my virtual utopia. Because that's all I've got. I I plank so much. I'm hitting milestones I'm not intending to. So have you played it all, Johnny? Or, I don't know how much
No, I
you've
don't
caught
have a Switch
or anything.
2. And like
Okay.
I was kind of thinking about like, is Pokopia the game that makes me want to get a Switch 2?
Yes.
And I just haven't played
Yes.
enough other games recently that I'm like that. It just I'm not there. So I feel like it's a game. I honestly feel like the
Yeah.
thing that's going to convince me to get a Switch 2 is going to be a new Animal Crossing. And I can see myself
Uh,
when I get something like that, getting a game like Pokopia. Because part of it for me with Pokopia is like I don't feel a strong need to play it now. Like I was like this with Dragon Quest Builders too, where it's like I just played it when I had some
sure.
time and like I wanted to play that sort of game and I was like, ah, this is great. And like played through all of Dragon Quest Builders too. It's not
Yeah.
like a new main series Pokemon game where you feel like
Yeah.
there's a huge
Yeah.
need to be like, oh yeah, I need to play this while everyone else is playing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be part of the wave, the trend, the new hotness.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree. And thankfully, Pokopia, as Dragon Quest builders, absolutely will be perfect forever, right? So yeah, when you're ready or when you want to, it'll be there. So I don't blame you. Okay. Well, I just wanted that reference to know what to talk about or explain to you. But anyways, so for measure of where I am, there's something called the environment level. Where as you increase the happiness of Pokemon and generally pretty up your town, because there's a few different measures as you place more items or get rid of like destroyed and ruined blocks, so it'll eventually go up. Um, so when you reach a new area, you're starting from level one. Basically, you have to hit around area five to progress to finish that area, all their quests and whatnot. And then later area or environment levels, excuse me. It goes up to 10 max. But that requires effort and generally like intentional work to reach it. I've hit environment level 10 on two different areas unintentionally. Um, I, I worked up to level 7 or 8 on most levels, or most areas because as you increase the levels, it unlocks different recipes and items for you to use. And there were some good ones like, oh, I want that. So I would make an effort to, do stuff to increase that and reach it. But once I hit 8 or so, I'd be like, I'm good on those. I'll just do whatever. So for the last week, I've kind of just been putzing around doing my own thing. I spend a lot of time rebuilding, because there's ruined structures and whatnot, and that's kind of my jam. I'll see like a broken down house, and I like to figure out what it was supposed to look like, and then fix it up. Um, and there are some big structures and buildings and locations. Again, we're a couple weeks in, and so I don't think it's much of a spoiler, but the SSN is in the game in a ruined, destroyed state. So like I'm spending time fixing up an entire cruise liner. Um, Stuff like that. But yeah, Pokopia. That's it. That's my life. It's all I want. I still have not found the foundation block. People who play the game know what that means. It's just like a simple block used in some of the existing structures, just like a like ground foundation for the building. I am founding. It's the bane of my existence. I'm in agony every day. Anyways, yeah, you can see this game is a problem for me, but that's all I've been nuts. um, yeah,
Well,
but we'll get
I've
more
heard
into
it
that.
from Al that we're going to end this month with an intervention for you. We're all going to get together and we'll have a Pokopia intervention for you.
Yeah, fine. We can make that an episode. That's okay. That's okay. Uh, but anyway, all right. Before we get more into my crippling life addiction, let's talk about some of these other games that supposedly happen. Because I hear games are developers haven't given up for some reason. They want to exist in the Pokopia world. Um, let's talk. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about a fun one actually. Overthrown, you get a pass because you've been working at it for a while. Overthrown, the 1.0 is officially out now. We're talking about it, and it is here. It is on sale on Steam, from 25 USD to 15 USD, a 40% discount. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Will I try this game if I ever stop playing Pokopia? I don't know, maybe. But it's the high speed, high chaotic physical farming slash building throwing game. Uh, Very cool that they came out. They have airships. That is part of the 1.0 update. You can build your own air, or you can get your own airship. I don't know you build it, but you can attack enemy camps. Whoa, that's crazy, but they're expensive. And outlaws, I would assume like bad NPCs may have their own airship, so you can do battle. That's crazy. This game is crazy. Good for them for having this vision and actually doing it. and coming out like in a reasonable time. This feels like a forever project, but here we are.
Yeah, this game looks pretty cool. I know
Yeah.
Al did an episode on it a while ago, and when him and I first talked about it, and this was in the very early days, one of the things I was like, looked at was like, it seems like a cool idea, but I wonder where they're going to go with it. And watching the 1.0 trailer, I was like, I don't know that they really went anywhere because the initial concept was like you can throw tree at sawmill to cut down tree, also you can throw sawmill at tree, which is fun and funny. But watching the trailer, I didn't really see anything else that kind of hooked me in. Like the combat looks pretty cool if you're into that sort of things. Like, you run really fast, jump really high, spin around a lot, all of that sort of stuff. But I get the sense if you go back and listen to the episode Al did, which was a little while ago now, if that makes it sound like a game that you would like, I think you would like it. I'm not sure. Like the updates sound fine, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like there is something that every time I see this game is missing from the concept that like I don't know what it is. I just
Yeah.
want probably I think I want more chaos. It almost feels too normal.
Yeah. A little too grounded. I get it. I can agree with you. Well, here's the thing for me. I look at, the image, the cover art, whatever you want to call it, the image on Steam, and there's your knockoff Breath of the Wild Link character and a knockoff Wooloo, right? Like they're clearly leaning on a lot of existing tropes or ideas and just adding in there. Someone said, "Hey, what if we had Breath of the Wild, but you could throw all these things at people really far?" In my opinion. So, that's only going to get you so far. I agree. But at the same time, hey, they made it, right? They had an idea. They're
Exactly.
going for it. Maybe they weren't shooting for the moon. But if this does well, I mean, they've been, working hard at it. Maybe they'll see more stuff and it'll go somewhere. But I agree. It should have more chaos. And I think they can kind of get that sense because the game's already so chaotic. So maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll do more. Um, but
Yeah.
we'll find out either
And like
way. Oh, go ahead.
no, it's in 1.0, right? Which is just huge,
Yeah.
huge achievement.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd say. It's go ahead. It's hit 1.0, which in this, I mean, I know it's really in a lot of game dev in general, but like it feels like especially in the cottage core space, like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to get there for so many people. So good for you, Overthrow. You hit 1.0, you're out, you did it, you made a game. Good for you. Go check it out on Steam if you're so inclined to Naruto run and throw a building at a outlaw, which is oh, no matter what else, that does sound like fun. Oh, okay. Speaking of things that come out, particular coming to the Nintendo Switch on April 30th, 2026. Excuse me. We have yeah, this is sorry, I had to refresh myself with this. They've got isometric, I guess, yeah, this you call it right, grid-based um
Yeah,
kind
this is
of
like a very cozy guarded builder, is kind of how I describe it. This is
yeah,
one that's been on my radar for a long time. Like I think visually very appealing. Like kind of more relaxed vibe. And watching through the trailer, like they've got different ecosystems and stuff because it's been a while since I looked into
yeah,
what they were offering. I've seen like I guess skill trees or upgrade trees, some of those sorts of things. Like this is one that I think I will give a go when it comes on Switch. Like it seems like a perfect sort of Switch slash Steam Deck style game. So I think it's just good to see this coming out
yeah,
on the Switch because that's where a lot of us play our games. And it looks,
yeah,
I don't know, it looks way deeper than I ever expected based on what I saw when I first saw trailers for this game.
yeah. This may be what I wanted Garden Galaxy to be. Or
Yeah,
Galaxy
I
Garden,
think
whatever
that's
that
a
game is called.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison for kind of like the
Yeah,
expectation level.
yeah. Yeah, that's the sense I'm getting. But yeah, I like the visuals. Like obviously it's bright pixel. I'm prone to that, but it's very polished. Like there's a lot of attention to detail, like some of the splashing effects and just little stuff like that. Yeah, it looks this one looks relaxing and dare I say cozy. So check it out. Yeah, good Switch game, like you said, April 30th, about a month from recording or release, whatever. That'll be out soon. So check it out if you're so inclined. It's on sale right now on Steam. I don't know when this ends, but for $10 on Steam if you're inclined.
Yeah,
USD,
actually, I
50%
hadn't thought
off.
about this, but now just kind of looking back, it kind of is giving me, like roller coaster tycoon style vibes, but you're just building a garden, you know. Like
Yeah.
it has the I've been trying to think about that sort of camera angle, the slightly angled one, because there's another game I think we'll talk about later that has a similar camera point of view, and I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's that sort of roller coaster tycoon style.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about it. You're right. Intentional or not, it's all rooted in there, all those isometric games.
Yeah.
You're right. Wow. Um, yeah, I guess you could argue it's a sort of sim management game. But it's still sexy because gardening is nice. And I will say, like, I don't know. Obviously, I haven't played this yet, but what when you're watering stuff or placing stuff, right? Like, there's an element of that in farming, gardening that's it's more of a little puzzle to solve, or to optimize how you want it. That maybe not in, say, Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you can just kind of build whatever. But I don't know. We'll see. Either way, particular looking all right. Um, like I said, April, was it 30th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out soon on Switch. All right. So let's see our next one. Let's talk. Oh my gosh. The SEO for Luma Islands about to go through the roof with the Luma movie coming out. Oh, because they're talking about Bunny Luma, and I'm thinking, wait, like, different guy. Anyways, they have a spring update. Oh yeah, it's that time of year, eh? Time for all the Easter
Yep.
themed updates to be dropping everywhere. Um, yep, Luma Island's coming out. With their Easter egg. Yeah, hunt for Easter eggs. You meet the bunny Luma. Cherry blossom items, picnic baskets, all the classics, all the hits, checking all those boxes. Um, and a couple of other updates. There. Ooh, it looks like improvement to managing like control scheme on their inventory. That's always a nice one. Um, but yeah, that is again Luma Island are for 3D game the visuals are quite nice, especially those lights looking at them at night.
Yeah, and
Check
just
it
looking
out.
at the screenshot for this one, I'm like, oh, I want to get back in because Loom Island was like my personal game of the year in 2024. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
it, and I kind of probably bounced off. Uh, I think we did like I played it a lot leading into the episode that we did on it, and then I kind of just bounced off and like looking at um the screenshots and how full it looks like probably a lot has been added since I last played. So I think this is one I'm going to jump back into.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. All right, good. Wait, do we have a date for that update? Is that out already? Oh, it's here already. No, no, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Uh, let me see. Oh, it is live. Yes,
Uh,
I'm sorry. Okay, well, hey, there you go. Update. Yeah, one
yeah, now
point
live.
one
Yep.
point eight. I don't know when you, but go check it out. There are probably a lot of updates. You know how these games are, always adding nonsense. Next up, speaking of updates, next update goes to Everdream Village. Okay, something I don't. Why would you announce update 1.14 and 1.15 at the same time? Why? I don't know, but they're saying two updates at once. But anyways, first off, we get just big quality of life stuff. What? Oh my gosh, there's dinosaur bones in this game. I was reading the list. Um, yeah, adding some new tutorials, giving clarity to items and so on. Well, animal and breeding stuff. Let's see, general gameplay. Redesigned the cooking mini game. Wait, you should probably talk about that a little more, Evergreen Village. A seed system. Oh, they can now have separate seeds and harvestable produce. Sorry, I'm just reading down this list. There's a lot of interest. This is a very big, meaty update.
Yeah, there's a lot in this update, but the summary to me seems to be if you tried this game and you bounced off because you found it a little bit hard to get into, it looks like that's where they've focused a lot of their attention is
Yeah,
on, like focus on tutorials. There's a
yeah,
part as part of the 1.15, which again buys this two updates. But the headline there is first 30 minutes of gameplay are even more polished. So if you started and you bounced off quickly because you felt like for whatever reason this game was a bit too hard to get into, maybe worth trying. This is
yeah.
not this game, unfortunately for me, falls into the category of my time in Porsche. You know, I know that game was
Hmm.
really successful, but like that game did not do anything for me. So now all of the games that are sort of emulating that style, immediately I kind of just my brain switches off. So I don't think this is one that I will try. But it's a big list of quality of life updates. So if that was your issue with the game, then probably worth jumping back
Yeah.
in.
Um, yeah, no, it looks like a hearty update. The onboarding, first impression things super important, so we're good for them for emphasizing that. But Pokopia exists, so I have no time nor love for any other cottage. I'm kidding. No, I'm sure everything goes fine. But anyways, yeah, I won't be hopping in anytime soon. But go check it out, or if you're interested, probably a better time to check it out. Also on sale on Steam as of time of recording for 20% off. 16 USD. Anyways, speaking of updates, well, okay. This next one, it sounds like okay, we're gonna talk about Abyss New Dawn. Big update 0.3. So, yeah, okay, the 0.3, if you're that early, you're probably making big updates, but they are the update's called Elder Grove Reborn. They have just updated the entire world, kind of rebuilt it. That's kind of big. Um or the starting world, I should say. That's what they call the Elder Grove. That's a big sounds like Final Fantasy 14, the Reborn. They Um, so yeah, they've just redone this whole starting area. They split it up into three regions. I'm not gonna get to too much detail of each of them, but a whole bunch of other bug fixes and some content stuff. That I forgot, man, I don't remember this game talking about it, but you can ride dinosaurs here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I was watching the
Very
trailer.
cool.
That's what stood out to me. And like the more I look, I'm like,
Yeah,
this game looks early, but and like it's got a little bit of that sort of Breath of the Wild thing going on, like kind of huge world,
yeah,
but like there's like a stone whale flying around, like some pretty big zones. So probably good
yeah,
that they're focusing on giving them personality because I think Kev, you and I have probably been the two most outspoken in talking about other other games and like if you're gonna
yeah.
have a big world, it's got to have stuff in it, right? Like it's got to have
You
personality.
you
So
make me care about the world. Yep.
yep. So it sounds like they may be
Yeah,
focused on the right things.
yeah. You know what? I'll give you some free advice of this new Dawn dev people who are clearly listening to this episode. On your splash cover image, you want to put yourself riding the dinosaur. I'm just saying. You probably want people to know that one first. Anyways, but yeah, good on you. Yeah, not a bad start to this game. 0.3, who knows when that 1.0 will drop, but they're working on it. They're working on it. Oh, they're aiming for, wait, no, that was the release date for their start. On August last year. Okay, I don't know. Either way, that update is out now. Um, oh, that's on sale on Steam as well. 30% off for about 16 USD and some change. Um, okay. Leslie, one more update. Said I saw this one and my heart started racing, but sadly it's a minor update. Terra Nil, beloved little cozy game of mine, that I go to frequently. It's Steam Deck and controller support. I don't know why you would use a controller. This is not a controller game, but it's out if you do so want it. But Steam Deck, that's a fun one. That is probably a decent use case to play it on the Steam Deck. Anyways, that
Yeah, I
is that
think
is
somewhere I
out
just heard
now.
Al scream finally. Because
Fine.
we all know his baseline position on this.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fair. Either way,
But they
I'm
do
now
say that this is
only
their
for
last
10
ever
USD.
update. Yeah, and this is their last ever update. So that's it.
Wait,
Terranil
what? I didn't
is
read that part. No. That's okay. Just do Terranil too. Give me more.
well, hopefully they are
Wait,
working
oh
on something
no.
new because I think they've done a great job with this game and continuing to add to it
They
since we
have.
first covered it.
Oh, I wonder what happened because I think they were absolutely planning to add more. Because in the game menu, when you select the area, you can like rotate this globe, and they had the entire back half like there, but not selectable. There was nothing there. I felt like they were gonna add more. Darn, darn. Oh well. Hopefully it comes out with the sequel. Terra Nil, you guys did great. Good for you guys. I applaud you and admire. Okay, I like it a lot.
Yeah, and like I think they've added a lot since since the initial launch. It might just be that, ultimately at some
Yeah,
point you kind of run out of ideas, or probably I think what
yeah,
tends to happen more is actually the ideas are like actually not feasible in the game,
yeah,
system as it was originally built and designed. So, um,
yeah, yeah. C'est la vie. Sadly, things must end. A lesson that we all that consumers struggle with, but it's true.
yeah.
Unless you're a Pokemon. I just kidding. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to think about this. I'm getting existentially terrified. But with that, let's talk about other existentially terrified things because that's all our news. And now,
It's not all that
um,
news.
oh wait, no, I'm sorry, no, I'm skipping over the new games. That was all the updates. I'll put a little reminder here though for Pokopia, and I'm ashamed I should have said this. Um, actually, it's going to be too late if, oh no, maybe depending on the time. Wednesday, the 25th is the last day for the Hop Up event. For people who know, I believe you can buy the materials and do get the spawns later for the Pokemon, but just if you haven't done it, it's really easy. Go out, go find your little dandelion seeds. Go buy stuff from Hop Up. It might be back later. I don't know. People already data mined. There's going to be more stuff, so we'll see. Um, yeah, okay. So that's the last of the updates. All right, let's talk about some new game announcements. Let's talk about Moonfrost. Sorry, 1 second. I closed my tabs on myself. Good job, me. Okay. So, all right, reading the blurb. Let's see how many buzzwords we can check off here. Moonfrost is a cozy life sim RPG set in a world ravaged by constant meteor storms. You know what meteor storms? That's all right. Farm, fish, craft, and build your dream home as you restore a village in ruins. Find friendship or love, and unravel the mystery behind the second move that looms above us. All right, you know what? There's a couple words in there that caught my eye. Um, second moon, that might be a concern issue. So let's see here. So it's Ravaged World. It's isometric where got the grid-based building, farming. You got a town, people you're interacting with. You got dungeons. I'll say the meteors dropping looks pretty cool. The visuals are pretty nice. Um, but yeah, we got no ETA again, just newly announced. Um, yeah, I don't know that. What are your thoughts here, Johnny?
Yeah, so visually, this looks like it's like in the middle ground between Stardew Valley and Coral Island. It's kind of like if those two were a spectrum, it's kind of sitting right in the middle. And I don't know, like, does this look like a good game? Yeah, probably. Does it look like it's doing anything particularly unique or interesting? I'm not seeing it yet. Like I think at the moment it feels like a lot of games are leaning into the like unravel the mystery as like the hook for like some sort of
Yeah.
story element as like the hook for um the game. And I don't really play these games for the story, if I'm being honest. Like that's a side
Mm,
piece. Like it's why I liked things like Coral Island, where it's like, yeah, just clean up the island, and there's a thing going on with corporation, but really just clean the island, like just do your farm and stuff, like, and that's all really good. So look, we'll follow this one as it develops, but like it looks good, but you know, TBC, right? Like, what's the hook? What's different to this? Like, why would I
yeah.
play this over just going back and starting a new save on Stardew Valley? Um,
Fish.
yeah,
Are
that's
you
that's
not
not
interested in discovering romance again, Johnny?
absolutely not. Honestly, now when I see that, I'm like, oh, do we have to?
Uh, yeah, exactly. Do I have to?
Because the
Um,
answer is usually yes.
I
In fact, you have to.
So I sorry, I apologize. I don't know where you got this from, but Al posted a little interview type question or an answer from the devs. That is worth note here. The question being asked, does Moonfrost have NFTs or any blockchain features? We're in 2026. Why are we asking? They are very clear. No, they do not have NFT or blockchain features and never will. Oh man.
I think it's important to know as part of the answer the game initially had that as part of the concept. So it might be
Yeah,
based on whoever the
yeah.
developers were, that was part of their initial
Mm,
pitch, but they're being very clear here that no, it
Yeah,
doesn't. Although I will
yeah,
say, like, if that was ever in your roadmap or plan, then it, it just puts me off slightly, right? Because it's like, so
yeah.
what is the next hype train that you're going to jump on and try and stuff into this game in
Oh,
order to make money?
the AI features. Are you excited for Copilot on Moonfront? That might not be
We
up
don't
to
we
them.
we
That
don't
might
have
be
3 hours for
depending
me
on
to
where they
go
release.
on that rant. So let's just
Uh, but that is kind of wild. They had the blockchain early on in development, but they stepped away from it. So, maybe leadership change. I don't know, but they made a pivot. So maybe it's possibly safe. But you're right. You don't know what the future holds. Um, yeah. All right. There you go. That's Moonfrost. That's our only new game announcement. Oh, keep an eye on it. If nothing else, you might see some chaos happen over there. All right, now we can get to Pokopia Corner. You Pokopia time. At this point, I should have like a jingle ready, just for we get to the Pokopia section. Okay. So we're going to talk about lore. I'm going to say quote unquote story. This is full spoiler warning for people. I've been thinking about how to approach this. Um, yeah, I'm going to talk about every area, not in detail like the map or whatever, but just kind of the progression and what happens. Let's discuss some of the NPCs and characters, and then kind of the final quest line. So this is going to be full spoilers, but like I said, I'm going to try to break it down by area so you can hop off wherever you feel comfortable, dear listener. But let's get into it. So first
and
of all,
maybe hold on, Kevin. I'm gonna interrupt you
yep,
and throw your plan totally off. So as a
go
starting
for it.
point, uh, so you're a
Yes,
Ditto, right? That's kind of what I know.
yes,
But like,
yeah,
so just set the context in terms of why does
okay,
the Ditto turn into
okay.
a trainer?
Okay. Well, that specific question is a little still fuzzy. Let's say. Okay. So, yes. All right. For people unfamiliar, let's just go right back to the beginning since Johnny you haven't played. Uh, the start point of the game is literally a Ditto wakes up from sleep, whatever. They wake up. They are in an unfamiliar location. They happen to find a Pokedex nearby that has an image of the Ditto and their trainer. And for whatever reason, the Ditto is motivated to transform into a monstrous human nightmare Ditto thing. Um, and that's just it. It's kind of motivated to do so itself. Um, yeah, there's I don't know why it sees it and it copies it basically. Um, and so yeah, where the trainer is, where anyone else is, that's very unclear. But then minutes after you, or seconds after, I should say, you run into Professor Tangrowth, the Tangrowth with glasses hanging around his neck, a CD on his head, and somehow his vines are graying. But he is Professor Tangrowth, and he runs into you. He finds you. He's kind of shocked because he has not found any Pokemon or humans recently. And obviously more shocked because you're a Ditto transforming into a person somehow. Um, and so the two of you venture out of the little cave that you've awoken in, and you are looking for anything else, any other Pokemon sign people or anything. You run into a Squirtle, um, who has awoken from a nap as well. The Squirtle also does not know where they are and confused by why there's no other people or Pokemon. The Squirtle use the Ditto transform into the Squirtle, and you learn to copy its ability of being able to projectile vomit with water gun and water the grass, which turns it nice, green, and vibrant. And in doing so, and cleaning up the area a little, just to make things nicer, you uh, attract a Bulbasaur, and you learn the ability from Bulbasaur to called leafage that grows grass, and then you realize you can start creating areas that attract Pokemon, and so in kind of discovering all this, Charmander joins your little crew. Uh, all of you guys decide to start reinvigorating the environment, the level around you, the world around you to kind of attract Pokemon and hopefully people back because nobody knows what's going on or where is anyone. And that's kind of the starting point for the game. Do you have any questions so far?
No, that I
Okay.
think is
All right.
good context. So it's starting with a big mystery, right? That's the
Yes. Yep. Nobody knows where anyone is, why everyone has disappeared. But that is yeah, that's kind of the mission. Let's fix up the world to see if we can find people, more people, and Pokemon. And and so you start your journey in the area called the Withering Wastelands. It is a uh green, well, quote unquote green. Everything is dried out sort of area, but a lot of greenery, a lot of trees and grassland type area. Um, there's some ruined structures. Oh, one of the big ones you guys find a Pokemon Center. Professor Tangrowth recognizes what it is, that it was a building where many people and Pokemon would gather. So one of the like main objectives is, hey, let's restore this Pokemon Center. Again, part of that mission, just trying to clean everything up. And so, going back to that's when the game kind of opens up. You get, sandboxy, and really up to you how you want to go about it. But you're creating new habitats, as they're called, to attract Pokemon. Every Pokemon's habitat or home has a certain like comfort level associated, how happy they are. You add items to fill their requests to increase the level. And as you're doing all these things as you're going on, you cause the environment level, like I discussed, to go up. Um, and so that's kind of the rhythm of the game, right? Just go about building stuff up, make Pokemon happy, environment level goes up. Around environment level 5, that's when you unlock the ability to restore the Pokemon Center. So like I said, that's kind of the point where you can clear the area. There are still some main quests per area. In the Withering Wastelands, the big kind of like issue is it's a very dry area. There's no rain, everything has dried out. So you want to create humidity, as Bulbasaur now the internet is taken by storm. Let's get humid, or let's get this area humid. And you want to introduce rain back into the area. So you go about you go about trying to attract water Pokemon. You try to attract a Slowpoke who's known for making rain. You set up a little rain temple and so on and so forth, all in hopes of bringing rain to the area. And so as you do that, like I said, you can water gun stuff yourself or and brighten it up, but the overall objective trying to hit that rain. Well, once you um up work enough quests and get to a certain point, you actually attract Kyogre, the legendary Pokemon. Um, and as Kyogre does, he brings rain onto the area. So, mission met. Actually, Kyogre is very funny. He has a southern drawl in this game, but yeah, yeah, he has a southern drawl and is more than happy to help you guys out. Um, and as the rainstorm happens, it rain will in fact turn areas of dry grass into wet areas and so on. And yeah, mission met, right? Like that's the main objective. And then once you've hit that and you've restored the Pokemon Center, that's kind of it for the Withering Wastelands in terms of the main quest. Now, here's the thing, not just with this area, the whole game as a whole. The quote unquote story is very simple, generally speaking. It's a very like, here's this problem, let's solve it, let's play the game and increase the habitat level, the environment level, all that stuff. And yeah, that's all. So like I mentioned last week, story wise, it's very simple to technically the events, the plot. There's not too much going on. But as you're exploring, you start to find, like I said, there's a lot of ruined structures and buildings and things. You find notes and hints as to what on earth has actually happened. Because here's the kicker. As you go through the story, the characters don't actually learn the truth. You, the player, learn the truth, but as they're Pokemon and they can't read human writing, they actually don't get the
ah
answer. Yes,
interesting.
it is. So looking at Withering Wastelands, one of the things you find in an abandoned building that's fairly it's not terribly hidden. A lot of these notes and areas are sometimes fairly deep in. Just the other day, I actually found a new cave I'd never found in one of these areas. But uh, when you investigate the little notebook there, you learn you are actually in Fuchsia City, from the Kanto region. Um, and not only that, but eagle-eyed players like our mutual friend Greg, will observe this is not just Kanto. This is Kanto from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because a lot of the tile sets, the art, and the layout are very closely matching the Let's Go games, which is such a fascinating thing. I have not played a Let's Go game, so I didn't catch this at all, but it's all based off Let's Go, which is one, a fascinating choice, but two, the fact that they dedicated to that, like, very impressive, very cool. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's really
anyways, yeah.
interesting.
Mhm. It is. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not playing it and don't have strong feelings on the game, but dedication to at least one interpretation of the Kanto region, I think is a very cool choice. Now, um, so yeah, um, so you start learning. I would say there's every area I think has basically three general tracks of the sort of notes you can find. One, you find just generic or stuff about the area specific, like in Fuchsia City, you learn, yes, the rain has stopped. The environment has gone into chaos because it's dried out. There's this drought going on. All right, you learn little notes like, yeah, here's where Koga lived or whatever, right? To confirm where you are. Just little hints and nods in a lot of occasions. Sometimes when you find a certain note, you'll actually learn either an emote you can do as Ditto, as a human. You can you find new outfits or hair to change your appearance. You actually can get Koga's ninja outfit, which is very cute. Um, and so on and so forth. So a lot of, let's say, I guess, call it flavor, right? Flavor for the area and the game as a whole. But there are two other what I would categorize as types of notes. One is the overarching like issue. As you learn that yes, the environment has gone into chaos, and what were people going to start doing about that? And two, you get notes from a Team Rocket member, um, and how that member and the organization is responding to the chaos as well. I'm going to get into those a little towards the end because I think it ties more towards the final quest and the credits. But just again, these are all spread throughout the whole game and throughout the whole world in a non-linear fashion. But so the more you explore, the more you're rewarded. But yeah, so I'll get to that. Um, but yeah, like I said, Fuchsia City, well, just ravaged by drought primarily, and that's why again the Pokemon are trying to bring rain, unintentionally knowing that was the root cause, but they just obviously see it's too dry. So, and they succeed in bringing Kyogre and huzzah. And then at that point, you can fix up the Pokemon Center and you hit a point where you can move on to a different area. Do you have any questions or any comments before I move on to one of these other areas?
No, like I'm really curious as to like where this is going.
Oh yeah. Oh, just you. Just buckle. Um, okay. Okay. After you complete the main objectives for the Withering Wasteland area, you can go to actually you have an option. There's two gates as they're called, doorways to different areas that you can pick. You can go to a beach area or a rocky mountain area. One's called Bleak Beach, the other is called Rocky Ridges. I will go in or again, totally up to you. And really, you don't know which one. You kind of pick a gate and you just go. I happen to end up at the Rocky Ridges first. So I'll go into the discussion of that. Um, so you end up in this mountainous area, called the Rocky Ridges, where everything is, or a vast majority of the location is also covered in volcanic ash. You can see that there's been a major eruption in the area and has kind of just covered everything in ash. So that's kind of our um chaotic root cause issue here, right? You So as you start again going about, you find the Pokemon Center, and just like every other area, you say, okay, let's start bringing this place back. Let's start attracting Pokemon, and fixing up the Pokemon Center. And now in the Rocky Ridge, you meet a handful of NPCs. This is where we start meeting some of our full on characters. You meet as you progress. You meet Chef Vente. I don't. Have you seen any images of these characters? Are you familiar with Chef
No,
Dente, Johnny?
no, I am
Okay, I'm
not.
going to show you the images. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'll show you Professor Tangrowth too, just so you can see. One second.
The professor I have seen.
Oh, you have seen?
Like I,
Okay.
I saw, some of the trailers.
Okay. Sure, sure, sure. All right. So you meet Chef Dente, a greetant with a pot in their head and far and cooking utensils all over. Um, they like everyone else don't know how they wake up from a nap
Uh,
and are wondering where the humans are. Chef Bente, in particular, had a trainer companion they were close to who was a chef, and so that's where they picked up the cooking. Chef Dente is actually female, and she's a sweet lady, but teaches you how to cook and the benefits of that from the gameplay wise and whatnot. And around the same time, you also meet a fantastic addition to the game, a new Rotom form. You meet DJ Rotom. Is it? It's DJ Rotom. Excuse me. It is a Rotom who has possessed a stereo system. And they are about bringing music and liveliness to the environment and the party. And so, with these two characters, um, the it's kind of like the overarching mission is, hey, let's lighten up the place with a big old party. So you go about trying to set up an entire big feast, set up a party area, and bring out music with DJ Rotom. Um, and so you're just trying to create a little happiness and celebration here. And as you do so, finally, when you reach the end of the quest lines, you're rewarded with the appearance of Volcanion, who continues to not care about humans whatsoever, as in other appearances. But they are impressed by everything you guys have done and shows you how to make fireworks, and you have a lovely little fireworks display as you and your little cast of Pokemon have a little party and food. Um, so lore-wise, story-wise, not too much going on in the Rocky Ridges, to be honest. What is interesting, again, is kind of the background stuff, and really, again, true for the whole game. So as you go through the area in Rocky Ridges, you find information. You are actually in Pewter City. Mount Moon has erupted and destroyed everything. Um, and so that's why the area has become abandoned, clearly. You find Brock's outfit, you find some mines, and so on and so forth. So again, just kind of chaotic. Where are all the people? You don't know what's going on, but again, little clues as to where you are, what's been going on. Um, and what's interesting though with these NPCs, particularly Chef Dente, towards the end of the game, you can come back and get a sort of late game secondary quest with Chef Dente to learn more about them. You learn a final recipe that they want to master. And in doing so, you find more information on their trainer who'd written journals about Chef Dente and how teaching them to cook and how much they cared for them. And you learn Chef Dente actually had a nickname from the trailer trainer named, and her name is Charlotte. And it is the most heartwarming, heart destroying little mention of just flavor of how much this trainer cared for this little gradient. And sadly, again, all the characters completely unaware since they can't read anything. Um, but yeah, there we are. That's the Rocky Ridges. Over in the other area that you could go to, Bleak Beach. Um, this one's interesting because you can tell right away where you are because you're in this beach seaside town area, but off into the distance you see a big cruise line, and at this point, most people know they're in Kanto. You know right off the bat you are in Vermilion City. That is the SS Anne in the background, which is very
Amazing.
cool.
That's cool to
Yeah,
see.
it is so awesome because you see like the silhouette, and then when you can approach it later, you see it's all destroyed. Um. Anyway, so yeah, you are now in Bleak Beach. Now, the crisis going on here. There's there's no light. It is completely overcast always. Um, and the town has been dark, and obviously the electricity is down. So you spend a lot of time going through the town trying to get electricity to generate. During this area, you meet Pikachu, a Pikachu that is very pale, in its complexion. Like all the other characters, they're very defined personality character. Pikachu's very proper and caring. Um, and I think I mentioned this last week, but or a couple weeks ago. But the reason Pikachu is so pale in its complexion, it had actually spent all of its electricity to save its friends who were getting sick, I believe. Um, so Pikachu at this point is unable to generate their own electricity, sadly.
And it's super
Um,
cute. This color scheme is
it
really
is.
nice. I like it a lot.
It is adorable, and that expression it has, it is just as sweet and delicate as it looks. Um, in this area, you meet the second character NPC you meet is here we are Mosslax, a Snorlax who has been asleep for so long they are covered in moss.
Oh,
Um and so again, kind of the whole objective here to light up the town, to bring, clear the skies again, and in part to wake up Mosslax again. And so as you do so, you find ways to generate electricity, different structures. You eventually even meet at the towards the end of these quest lines, you meet Raikou, an appropriate, electric thunder Pokemon, and they help bring illumination. Actually, Pikachu plays a big role because even though they can't generate electricity, they can absorb and charge it and let it out in a giant flash, and you do that, which is very sweet that it's trying to do all it can, even with its sort of disability, almost, I guess you could say, for a Pikachu. Limitations at least. But yeah, you do so. And now Mosslax is interesting. Obviously, why is it covered in moss? Here's the thing. So as I mentioned, with all these other Pokemon, yourself included, they don't remember how they got there. They wake up, they say, I just woke up from a nap or whatever, and don't know where they are, how they got there. Mosslax is not the case. Mosslax actually remembers how it fell asleep. And it remembers being with humans. It remembers it fought some very it went to sleep because it had a fight with a very strong Pokemon. Um, it essentially served as a sort of a protector for the town. People would give it food, and at one point it fought a Pokemon so powerful that it went to sleep and slept for an unknown number of or an unknown amount of time. Could be months, years, who knows? But so much that moss has grown on it. But it's just interesting because you get it's a very different feeling from all these Pokemon that basically have amnesia. But this Mosslax knows stuff about the before times. Um and and um and so yeah. Again, but like the other character NPCs, you can get some late game quests to go to find out a little more. Pikachu, you actually meet the friends. It's a bunch of small electric Pokemon. I think it's a Pikachu, a Toxel, and a Dedenne that it cared for and protected them and gave up its electricity to keep them safe. And Mosslax, you just kind of learned that backstory of how fighting a very strong Pokemon, just going to sleep for a long time. Um, so yeah, very very Boss Lex I found particularly interesting because of that kind of difference. But yeah. Do you have any questions so far, Johnny? I know I'm going just on and on here, so please.
no, no, keep going, keep going. This is really
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. So the last area, once you clear both the beach and the rocky ridges, you unlock the fourth area, and it's called Shimmering Skylands. Now, this is the one that made me go, whoa, because you this is the first one, like, I couldn't quite guess where we were. You basically encounter this area that is a bunch of looks like floating islands. There's like mountains of crystal, and it's all broken up. And upon entering this area, you discover something pretty surprising to me, at least caught me off guard. you discover because let me back up. Here's the thing: Ditto, being human shaped and having the transform capabilities, it's clearly doing stuff that other Pokemon can't do, right? It's the one crafting everything, building everything, doing all these things, right? Upon entering the Shimmering Skies, you discover evidence of another Pokemon that has been crafting and building things.
Ooh.
Because you see kind of not run down, but like makeshift structures, let's call it, right? Like it was cobbled
Hmm.
together from different materials, but you see structures, you see some machinery. There's a lift that will carry you from your end starting area to a central island. Um, so you got you and Professor Tangrowth realize, oh dang, there's another Pokemon that can craft around here. And so you get started kind of like you do in the other areas. Um, you have the Pokemon Center. You're working to restore the habitats, and soon you meet the Pokemon responsible for the stuff going on. The best NPC in the game, hands down. The other ones are great, but there is no competing with the Tink Master. Um, you here, let me show you their image. They are a Tinkaton who loves to craft. They have modified their hammer to have an array of, or it was like a wrench and a saw,
Amazing.
and
Yeah,
they love to build. Um, they are charming, they are sweet, and they're all on board on repairing and building stuff. And
that's
so
great.
it's great. So as you explore the Shimmering Skylands, you realize this was a big city. Um, uh, there's run basically broken down skyscrapers and roads like asphalt roads going through the city or through these different areas. Um, and there's one particularly big building that Tink Master wants to reconstruct. And so the kind of the overall story here is rebuilding this huge tower. And this one is actually a lot like Dragon Quest Builders, kind of. As you remember, Johnny, you would have these
Hmm.
big builds, and you'd gather materials, and all the Pokemon would or characters would help build them for you. And it's
Yeah,
very similar to that as you're restoring this building because this one's broken up in parts. Basically, gather the different materials, find certain things, and then build this next area of the building. I think it's like 4 or 5 steps it takes to restore the building. Um, and once you do so, yeah, you've built this huge skyscraper. It's actually very lovely. And how Tink Master has built it. There's like a restaurant, an office area, a play area. Very very fun to see this building come to life level by level. Um, and anyways, and so when you complete it, yeah, everyone's celebrating. But then you get uh, again you get your legendary encounter. And this one's interesting because basically a hole opens up in the sky and so you go to the top of this big building you constructed. And what comes down from the hole but a Master Ball, the first ever Pokeball, like, or you see of this nature in the game. And out of the Pokeball comes Mewtwo, um, who has just been alerted to this construction and is checking in to make sure humans aren't up to scientific nonsense again. And but once it's just Pokemon, he's like, okay, cool, carry on, and just disappears. But it is fascinating because you see a Master Ball. Again, I mean, you see Pokeballs like the items you pick up, but it's more of a game thing, not actually Pokeball. It feels
hmm,
like, but yeah, but that's interesting because again, that's kind of like an instance of okay, that Mewtwo clearly had human interaction or whatever, and in a different sort of environment than the rest of these Pokemon. Um, and so as for the area itself, it took me a second to figure out because in Kanto, right, there's the two big cities, there's Celadon and then there's Saffron City. At points it felt like there was this weird mashup of the two because some areas felt like Celadon, but after talking it over and looking over the notes and everything, you realize it's Saffron City. You find Sabrina's gym again, heavily inspired off the Let's Go look. It has a very like distinct cyber futuristic colorful look. So you see that. The building you restored is clearly this Sylph building. And the Mewtwo spawning there. Um, is a reference to that. And there's a few things. You see the fighting dojo and so on stuff and so forth. So yeah, that one's very interesting to dig around and really understand. Um, I won't go into all the details of the environment, but yeah, you learn about that. You learn the all the details of what's going on. You learn a lot of Rocket stuff because Rocket had some presence there. Team Rocket had some presence there. But yeah, um, very very cool area. Tink Master again, phenomenal character, and they have an incredible ability. Every Pokemon has like an ability, as you can imagine, right? You know, some will water, some will burn things, some will help plants grow. Tink Master has a unique ability called Engineer. Tink Master will, if you bring it to a building project, will reduce the time significantly. Some buildings won't construct until the next calendar day. Tink Master can reduce it to about an hour or so. Um, Very cool, very awesome Pokemon. Absolutely adore Tink Master. And you see like this tower they kind of built in the middle in their own little home. I just I love Tink Master so much. Um, anyway, so yeah, so that's it's kind of the gist of the whole plot. Because the Shimmering Skylands is the last area. Um, and again, kind of that same rhythm of find the area, restore the Pokemon Center, fix the big problem, and you're done with the area. So again, in terms of like the characters, that's kind of it for them. They don't get a lot of closure. They don't really get an answers to what's going on. Uh, but to you,
Do
the
we get an
player, as you've
answer?
been going
Yeah.
on, you find these notes. I haven't talked about them because again, they're spread out and you find them. But the final piece of the puzzle is one more separate quest line. In the Withering Wasteland, there is this structure that looks like a lighthouse covered in sand. You discover it early on when you're in the Withering Wastelands, and it's you approach the building and it starts a message starts playing. Um, and you're inducted into this program called the Team Initiation Challenge, and this voice is asking you to bring a number of items to this building. Um, and so this is kind of like a long-term quest line because you encounter it very early on, but a lot of the materials as you progress you can't access until later areas and so on. Um, and it comes in 8 steps. As you complete them, you receive a badge. It's kind of funny. They're like the first one's called a boulder-like badge. I think it's just the Kanto badges, but it's just a little decorative item, pretty much. But there's 8 steps to this quest line. I call it quest line. There's not much going on. You're just interacting with the voice coming out of this structure, and you're just giving it items. Now it's very clear. Like this team initiation challenge is Team Rocket. Um, again, going back to the Team Rocket notes, as you discuss, you're actually finding the notes of the member who was kind of responsible for the structure in these recordings. Basically, with the well, actually, you know what? Let me go a step back. With the other notes that you've been discovering, you've learned that the environment has gotten so bad that humans have elected to evacuate into space. Um,
Okay.
Straight up. That's
Uh,
this is the underlying nonsense behind Pokopia. People have decided to go into space. So now from here, right, once you learn that kind of not insane truth, there's the Team Rocket thing, and then there's the conservation. Because here's the thing, as Pokemon is people are trying to get into space, already a huge endeavor. A lot of people are wondering, okay, what about the Pokemon? You know, a lot of people care about the Pokemon. And so you find one researcher scientist endeavoring, and it's called the Pokemon Conservation Project. He's figuring out a way to solve to how can they help the Pokemon while they're gone because the environment is still so so broken down and hopeless. And then on the other side, the Team Rocket, you learn about this Team Rocket member. Team Rocket, because of their shenanigans they've done, are not being allowed to join other people in space.
Seems reasonable.
So the Team Rocket and this member are endeavoring to build their own little rocket ship, and evacuate into space. So, yeah, as you're learning all these pieces, you're starting to get the picture of what's going on. The Pokemon Conservation Project, it's really fun. They actually mention the Ether Paradise, the Ether Foundation from Sun and Moon helping them out too. The plan is this. They are going to put all the Pokemon in a giant PC system. This is the plan. At first, I thought this was the game. I thought we were inside the PC simulation world because things were starting on. There was a point where things weren't fully making sense. But I think that was just a function of like the game mechanics or whatever limitations of the game. Um, but you learned the system that the Pokemon conservation system is only set to last a certain time. Eventually, the Pokemon are going to have to come back out. And so this you start to get the clear picture on what's on Earth with all the Pokemon. Why are they waking up with amnesia? They are finally being spit out by the Pokemon conservation system. And Ditto is one of the very first Pokemon to do so, because of its transformation abilities. It's very adaptable. So that's why you're one of the very first to ever come out. And then you get like a Squirtle, water Pokemon that can shoot out water and make plants grow. And this also starts to make some of these other differing stories make a little more sense. For instance, Professor Tangrowth actually avoided the Pokemon conservation system. It you in the backstory that you learn throughout the different notes, it was actually a Tangela with the is the researchers train Tangela. But it escapes the scientists who are going to put it in the giant PC, and so Professor Tangrowth has more or less been just wandering the landscape on its own for years. It eventually evolved into a Tangrowth, and its hair started to gray. That or vines started to gray. That's why it's somewhat knowledgeable about the world and has been lonely for such a long time. Moslax also did not go into the PC system. It just slept while all this nonsense happened. Um, I don't know about Mewtwo, but at least Mewtwo was able to. I might have just been in the Master Ball the whole time, but it has some awareness. Kyogre was at the bottom of the ocean, so on and so forth. A couple of Pokemon slipped by, but a lot of these other Pokemon that are just spawning, they're coming, being spit out of a giant computer system.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what's going on with the Pokemon. And again,
It's
Team Rocket
it's a
on the
really
other
clever
side.
story.
It
Like
is. It is.
trying to come up with a way to do it that's not too dark is difficult, right? Like, so it's like the,
Yep.
it's like the, since you started, I've been kind of waiting for the, like, is everyone dead? Right. And then when you said they all left for space, I was like, well, that's good, but like, it's also pretty grim that they're like, we're just gonna
Yeah.
peace out and we're just gonna leave
Yep.
all the Pokemon here to,
Yeah.
die. And it's like, well, no, they kind of like. I mean, it's not great, right? Like they kind of did the Wall-E
Yeah.
thing of we're gonna just jump on the spaceship
Yeah.
and we'll work it out later. But at least there was like
Yeah.
a reason, right? Like they had some level of thought. So that's quite
Yeah.
fascinating and like it works really well in terms of like because I hate amnesia in games. It's like what like why has everyone forgotten? It's like well actually this is a pretty good reason, you know?
Yep. Yeah. And so fascinating because again, the structure of this is all non-linear. It says you're exploring if you happen to find these things, right? Um,
Yeah,
if you
like
like,
I hesitate to say this is a good story, but it's like, the standards being what they are.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
certainly not a bad story.
No, no, certainly not. Right? It's engaging enough, right? Um,
And it's the right sort of story for this game where it's like, okay, so
yeah,
you explore and you discover and like do you need it? No. But does it
yeah,
make it better if it exists? Yes. And like and
yeah,
now like looking at all of the images of the NPC, the Pokemon with the actual characters, like, oh, these are all really cool variations, right? Like to me, this is what variations of Pokemon. Like I kind of hate regional forms. I find them like super uninspiring and they just don't really make a lot of sense in my mind compared to like these versions that do make sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, I can get the regional form. Like they are just recycling, right, or just basing off stuff. But these, I mean, these are characters, right? These are not just variations. They are full on characters with stories, how they
Yeah.
got there, why they look like that. Yeah, I understand that. Um, yeah, no, but I mean, it's all well done and funny to call it well paced because it's so again off the beaten path in a lot of cases where you find these little hints and things. I haven't found all the pieces yet. There's still plenty of notebooks and things I have to discover, but like I get the general gist of it right from exploring so
Hmm.
much. Um, anyways, going back to the team initiation challenge because that's really the final quest, the team initiation challenge. The last delivery you have to do. is a set of items that you only get from clearing all the other areas. Right, like the last I when you clear the Shimmering Skyland area, you get a recipe for a Game Boy, a classic Game Boy system, and that's one of the items you have to deliver. So you can't beat it until you beat all the other areas. So once you deliver all that, actually the I say that was the last one. That's the semi to last one. The last item you deliver is actually a photo. You have to take a photo, and they specifically say like a very cherished photo for someone you care about. Um, it's very touching and sweet, and so you go take a picture who you want. I rounded up the three starters. You start off with Professor Tangrowth and took a picture of us, and you give it to the lighthouse. And as I'm sure you summarize at this point, you turns out this lighthouse is in fact the Team Rocket rocket, and
Hmm.
it starts an initiation sequence by chance. Professor Tangrowth actually accidentally triggers it with some party poppers. Um, but the rocket build up, it launches into space. And and then you get your charming, very, very charming and touching credit sequence of basically paper cutouts of the rocket flying through space and avoiding planets and asteroids and getting hit and getting banged up. And at the end of the credits, you find a little space station area with a Ditto plushie in the window, and an astronaut comes out and meets this rocket. Oh,
Oh.
I should mention, I completely forgot, but when you clear each Pokemon Center, you find a record from what is clearly Ditto's trainer, which is very cute and sweet. There's not too much in terms of like story, but it's just heartwarming to see the trainer that Ditto also clearly cares about. Um, and then in post games, or like the minutes after you clear the game, you get the what I would call the real final piece of the puzzle, the final or a Team Rocket journal entry mentioning how they had built this project, and they had actually gathered a surplus of fuel because that was one of the challenges for the whole space idea of it was coming back. So they decided to get a surplus of fuel to kind of hopefully find good graces as they bring it up to space. So the implication that one day people will possibly come back here. Um, but that's kind of it. That's that again, a little bit of open-ended story ending, but a little hope. Which is
I
very nice.
Yeah, I coming into this was not expecting a good story. I was expecting like just some nonsense that kind of doesn't make sense, but it's like it's good enough for a game like this to get through, which I think would be totally fine, right? Like a
Yeah.
game like this doesn't need to have a good story, but like hearing that it does, and like I've listened to the last few episodes that you've done on the game, it's making me really want to play it because this is the sort of thing that I look for in a game like this, where it's like the level of thought that's gone into an aspect of this that's not that important to the overall experience of the game, but it being there does make the experience better for some
Yeah.
number of people. Like, is the sort of thing that makes me want to play it because it's like if there's a level of detail that's gone into something not critical, then
Mm-hmm.
everything else should probably be pretty good, right? And like I think this is my constant argument with Pokemon. Like everyone's sort of the trees argument, right? It's like yeah, but if the trees are ugly,
It's
how much care has gone into the rest of the world and the rest of the game,
yeah,
and that's what I feel like
yeah,
is missing, and that's like hearing this makes me feel like it's there, and it's not just that the story is logical, the characters like the mossy Snorlax or whatever, like they feel like good real characters for this world and this game.
yeah. I mean, I fully agree, right? Like care is the operative word, right? Like that's all the recent output of Pokemon, I agree. Like that's been the problem, right? Like there's stuff I like, but you feel the limitations, right? Like how much care is
Hmm.
going into that, right? Especially from the biggest media franchise in the world, right? Like you have infinity dollars to put care and attention into every detail, and you're not, right? So I that's disappointing.
Yep.
But that's not the case at all in Pokopia. As I mentioned, so if you look, okay, those little statues at Pokemon gyms, the little like substitute doll looking dinosaur thing. If you look at
Mm.
that compared to the Let's Go one, it's 1 to 1. It's the same statue. Like they put care into
Mm.
everything in this game. It's
That's
it's
so good.
phenomenal. It's incredible. I was blown because again, never played it. So when Greg showed me the images, like, wow, that is just from Let's Go. Um, absolutely brilliant. And I'm not surprised, right? This is again the Dragon Quest Builders team. There was a lot of care and love into that game. So I'm not. That was my expectation, fully met. I said this a couple weeks ago, but this and it's not just me. I think the reviews say it all. I think this is easily to say the best game with Pokemon in the title, hands down. It is yeah, it's just incredible. Like I mean, it's all lore and whatnot, but like I don't remember if I said this on the show, but I think I've always said that Pokemon's biggest strength is the Pokemon, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? Like the designs are always great, but how do you interact with them? How do you play with them, right? Sure, the main games you go through, you battle, and that's something, but Pokemon early on in the 90s, like they introduced an anime, a card game, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, all these different ways you can play and interact with them. And when they do that well, it's phenomenal, and that's all this game is. It's just hey, I want to hang out with all these Pokemon and build stuff. Um, it's phenomenal, and and survive this insane, existentially horrifying story. Because yeah, you're right, it is Wally. I didn't think about that, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
it is.
that was the first thing I thought of when it's like, yeah, we're just gonna leave the planet.
It's Wall-E with the little accent on it from the Pokemon. It's Wall-E in the Pokemon logo or font.
uh
Yeah, but anyways, I'm scared because they're releasing plushies of some of these NPC characters, so I'm done for it, Bonnie. It's over for me.
yeah.
Actually, they're
Yeah,
doing Pikachu and Muslax, but
oh,
yeah, I'm scared.
those feel like the right ones to be doing. I would get either of those, and I
Yeah,
haven't even played the game.
yeah, yeah. What's nice, and there's because they've still left it so open, there's room for expansion, which I'm going to be a sucker and buy right away. Like I mentioned, we only did 4 cities. There's plenty of more cities. We didn't do Lavender Town. Maybe what is it? Celadon, the place Misty's from. It's not Celadon, Cerulean City. And with the big cave next to it, like there's room, there's stuff to explore and see more of. Like I said, each of the environments kind of have their own thing. Oh, I forgot to mention Saffron. The reason it's so crazy, it's tectonics. Earthquakes just split the city up and caused mountains to spawn. Um, it's wild, some of the damage you see. Um, and there's a lot more. Like I haven't talked about all the locations and sites to see, and there's still a lot of environmental storytelling just looking at the land and figuring what's going on. Um, but it's yeah, we can say that for another time. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. This story that literally everyone was dead was close. I thought Pokemon in the PC was up there, but still they went places. They weren't afraid to go places, and that's this game with their story. So yeah, well, welcome to the horrors of Pokopia. Um, all right, but that's it. I've said my piece again for the third week in a row, and I will continue to do so. So long as I'm on here. Do you have anything else to add or questions, Johnny?
No, I think that's like it was a really good summary. And like I said, I think for me, it's made me want to play the game more. Like it's
Yeah.
really satisfying just to hear that it's a story that makes sense. And I also think like based on what I know of this sort of game and like, having played Dragon Quest Builders 2 and some things like that, like knowing the story will probably change your enjoyment of the game zero, right? So if you've
Yeah.
listened to this and you're like, oh, should I play? It's like, well, the answer is probably still yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah. I mean, like the story's great and all, but that's just one element. The game itself, like I'm going at this hard still, but I also had just clearly have issues. So All right. So with that said, thank you, Johnny, for joining me on this little journey as I talked about the horrors of Pocopia, the underlying horrors, and thank you, listeners, for joining me. Thank you, Al, for having me on. All right, Johnny, do you have anything you'd like to share or plug or whatever?
No, look, I think just if you can, join the Slack. It's a good time. We
Yeah.
we chat about all things. I'll post kitten photos there. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the main thing for me. What about you, Kev? Where can people find you?
Uh, I mean, I'm Cooper Perez wherever. Like, I don't have anything interesting. I live in Pocopia world. Once I get, oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about Pallet Town. There's a place called Pallet Town, spelled like art palette. Um, It's basically the creative mode. Like it's a super flat, huge area. That's where you can build. Once I get that going, I'll share pictures of that in Slack. I haven't even touched it yet. Oh. Anyways, if I'm Cooper Press, wherever you care, it's when I have interesting things to share, I'll bring it up. But whatever. But as Tony said, follow the podcast because that's always interesting. We're on Tumblr and Blue Sky at THS Pod. Go to harvestseason.club to share to see links to all the stuff we're talking about in the show, or to give us feedback. We can we like to read I like to read the feedback, hear the feedback, and talk about it. You will be on the show. Get attention. Um, and then if you really want to, see the wood stuff, well, it's all good. But you want extra bonus stuff? Go to patreon.com/thspod, where you can support the show just for a couple bucks a month. Uh, it's a you, you guys do you. I'm not forcing you, but I personally am always more than happy to support the show. And if you do, you get some goodies. You get access to our Slack where we all hang out, cat pictures for Jonnie, all sorts of other stuff. People talk about how hopeless I am with Pokopia. Um, and we talk about the show and all that good stuff. And you also get access to the greenhouse. Where we talk about all sorts of non-cottage core topics and things. I have ideas. Actually, Jonnie, I we need to do Jonnie, one with you specifically. We need to do a I think we both had a few issues with best games of 2025, so I think you and I need to do a round two of that one. um
Uh, we'll see what we can make happen.
at some point. But anyways, yeah, tune in. We'll let you guys know when we have other stuff. We got plenty of ideas. Just time's hard. Anyways, well, yeah, that's all we got. Thank you, Jonnie, again for being on. Thank you, Al, for letting us record and doing this whole thing, editing. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, have
Have a
good
good harvest.
harvest in space because you abandoned Earth.
The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.
Wonder what they harvest in space.
I don't know. Beans and wheat
Someone
and tomatoes.
needs to make that Stardew Valley clone where it's just everything is like a regular farming game, but it's moon carrots and moon potatoes and moon cows and moon
Wasn't
chickens.
that a game? It's a game. What's it called? It had space
Oh.
cows.
Hmm.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. It had aliens and oh my god. It's oh gosh. I can't find it. I'm gonna hate it's Astro something, I think. Astro. Yeah, nope. I can't find it. Oh well, there was definitely a game with space cows. Um yeah, anyways, okay. Well, that was gonna be the post credits, but I failed. I couldn't find it. Oh well, say lovey. Oh yeah. All right.
I'm
GG's,
googling
thank
space
you,
farming
Jonnie.
game. Let's see. No, I've found one called One Lonely Outpost. Was that it? That was it.
That's the one. That's the one. Stop recording. But yes, that's the one. One Lonely Outpost. That's the one. Found it.